Have you ever wondered why a beloved franchise like the MCU is facing backlash for its latest projects? In the last 24 hours, we witnessed a shocking moment in Disney history. An actor from the upcoming Agatha series took a jab at Marvel fans, calling them not nice and implying they're bigoted for critiquing his character's LGBTQ representation. But here's the kicker: right after this controversial statement, news broke that Disney instructed Pixar to minimize LGBTQ themes in Inside Out 2. So what does this mean for the future of the MCU? Is diversity the real reason fans are unhappy? Today we'll dive deep into the reasons behind the disconnect between the MCU and its vocal fans, comparing the Agatha debacle to the success of Deadpool. Stay tuned as we uncover the 4 key reasons why one thrives while the other flops. In a startling turn of events over the last day, we may have witnessed one of the most ironic moments in Disney's history. An actor from the upcoming Marvel series Agatha made headlines with his comments during a recent interview. He acknowledged that the Marvel fandom is notably less forgiving than the Heartstopper fandom, admitting that many viewers are likely to despise both his character and his portrayal. He went on to say he simply has to accept this, emphasizing that Marvel fans are particularly outspoken about their opinions. This reference to vocal fandom hints at critics who have established platforms like The Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and Jeremy Jahns. However, the actor didn't stop there. He also seemed to mock these fans, suggesting they aren't part of the Marvel universe and implying that he's doing what they wish they could, acting in a Marvel project. His remarks come in the wake of backlash regarding his character's LGBTQ representation. Adding to the controversy, just after his comments, news emerged that Disney has advised Pixar to steer clear of LGBTQ themes in Inside Out 2. This decision follows their earlier move to part ways with a diversity-focused approach, which many fans criticized as prioritizing representation over storytelling. The timing of this interview couldn't be worse. It seems to undermine the actor's critique of the fans, especially when Disney, the parent company of Marvel, is actively scaling back LGBTQ representation while he openly attacks the audience for their responses. But this leads to a much broader and intriguing question: is diversity the main factor behind the MCU's recent struggles? And could it be the reason that prominent critics like The Critical Drinker have become increasingly dissatisfied with the franchise? To get to the bottom of this, we need to draw a comparison between Agatha and one of the MCU's more recent success stories, Deadpool and Wolverine. Both of these properties include significant amounts of diversity, yet Deadpool was widely celebrated while Agatha appears to be facing heavy criticism. So why does diversity in Deadpool work without sparking outrage, while the diversity in Agatha seems to invite backlash? I believe there are 4 key reasons behind this, and we're going to break them down one by one. The first reason comes down to what the story serves. This is crucial. In Deadpool, there was a clear understanding from the outset of what the movie aimed to deliver and who it was made for. The marketing campaign made it crystal clear that Deadpool was all about giving the fans the best experience possible, complete with wild action, biting humor, and a fast-paced story. When audiences sat down in theaters, they were bombarded with a relentless barrage of entertaining moments, leaving them thoroughly satisfied by the time the credits rolled. Not only that, but it was clear that the filmmakers behind Deadpool had great respect for their audience. They weren't just making a movie, they were creating a uniquely fun experience. As a result, even though Deadpool included significant diversity, arguably more than Agatha, the same fans who are often labeled as bigoted absolutely loved it. Why? Because the diversity in Deadpool served the story rather than overshadowing it. For example, Deadpool's pansexuality wasn't shoehorned into the plot to make a point or lecture the audience. Instead, it became a humorous and integral part of the character, adding another layer to the movie's over-the-top comedic style. In this case, diversity didn't feel like a forced agenda, it was just another way to entertain the audience. It's safe to say that fans don't mind diversity when it's woven into the story naturally and serves a larger narrative. The real issue arises when diversity feels like the sole purpose of a show or movie, rather than being one part of a well-rounded, engaging story. When diversity feels like it's being forcefully injected into a narrative, audiences can quickly feel as though they're being lectured rather than entertained. This is a critical distinction. With a character like Deadpool, his pansexuality isn't a message or an agenda, it's just part of his character, naturally lending itself to comedic moments and enhancing the film's overall tone. The audience doesn't feel like they're being force-fed a lesson. Instead, they're genuinely having a great time. One important detail to note is that this aspect of Deadpool's identity isn't something that's constantly highlighted in interviews or promotional material. It's not treated like a defining trait that must be discussed, but rather just one part of who the character is, which aligns with the movie's overall goal to entertain. The focus is always on whether the film delivers a fun and engaging experience. That's the key difference. The creators and marketers knew that what mattered most was the entertainment value, and that's what they emphasized to fans. Now, when you compare this to Agatha, you notice a stark contrast. There's a noticeable lack of discussion about how the show is meant to entertain the fans or fix the problems that have been plaguing the MCU. The passion for creating a product that satisfies the fans, the very people who have kept the Marvel franchise alive and thriving, isn't as evident. This lack of clear purpose, combined with insufficient marketing, has led to a perception that Agatha might exist solely to check diversity boxes. This is likely contributing to the backlash against the show's diverse elements. Fans feel as if they're being shortchanged, with the narrative serving diversity more than the story itself. This brings us to the second key point, the purpose of diversity. It's essential for filmmakers and studios to remember what diversity is truly about. In its simplest form, diversity means including a wide range of different people and perspectives. That's it. However, diversity in itself should never be the central focus or the only defining feature of a film or series. A story still needs to be well-crafted, engaging, and enjoyable. Diversity on its own doesn't make a movie or show inherently good. It's just one aspect of a much larger picture. The plot, character development, and entertainment value still have to be strong, or else the diverse elements will feel hollow and performative. That understanding was evident with Deadpool. Whether or not the film highlighted its diversity, it still succeeded on its own merits. It wasn't praised simply for including diverse characters, it was praised because it was a well-made, entertaining movie. Equal opportunities for all should be given in any industry, and when diversity is simply a reflection of fairness, that shouldn't be a reason for celebration. The focus should always be on creating something of quality. The idea that Agatha should be praised solely for its diversity misses the point. The show, like any other, needs to stand on its own. If the story doesn't resonate or isn't engaging, audiences aren't obligated to applaud it just because it represents a diverse cast. And when Agatha's trailer didn't land well with viewers, especially with its humor and perceived lack of a strong plot, it was understandable that fans were skeptical. They saw beyond the surface-level inclusion and rightfully questioned the show's substance. Fans are looking for entertainment, not just representation for its own sake. Which brings us to the third key point, diversity of opinion. One of the things Deadpool did exceptionally well was respecting its audience, even when that audience had negative feedback. Some fans didn't like certain aspects of the movie, but the creators never attacked them. Instead, they accepted the critiques as part of the process and moved on. This allowed fans to feel heard, even if their opinions weren't positive. If the goal of diversity is to create a world where different perspectives are welcome and celebrated, then that principle should extend to differing opinions too. When creators refuse to accept feedback or shut down critics, it only deepens divisions between fans and the franchise. It's natural to feel frustrated when people don't like your work, but creating a healthier, more united community requires respecting everyone's right to an opinion. Constructive criticism should be taken on board to improve future projects, and non-constructive negativity can simply be ignored. Attacking or mocking the fans, as some involved with Agatha have done, only worsens the divide. It drives a wedge between the creators and the people who are supposed to be enjoying their content. And with major franchises like the MCU, which are built on the love and passion of their fans, fostering that connection is crucial. It's clear that responding negatively to fans who criticize your work only deepens the divide between creators and their audience. When actors or creators react harshly to the fans, it can fracture the community. And when it comes to large, iconic franchises like the MCU, which thrive on uniting fans from all walks of life under the banner of great entertainment, creating division only harms that unity. Marvel fandom should be a place where people with different opinions, worldviews, and backgrounds come together to enjoy these massive blockbuster superhero stories. That brings us to the final key point, ego. What I mean by ego is the understanding that, at the end of the day, movies and shows, while influential, aren't the most serious thing in the world. Of course, films can inspire, unite, and make a difference, but the entertainment industry is, at its core, about providing people with enjoyment and an escape. Denzel Washington said it best when he reminded people that while these projects can help shape the world, they're not the most important thing on the planet. This is a lesson Deadpool took to heart. The film never took itself too seriously. Its creators understood that their primary job was to entertain, and they delivered exactly what fans wanted. In contrast, Agatha seems to be taking itself a bit too seriously, becoming defensive when fans don't respond positively. The backlash against the fans shows a certain level of ego that can be off-putting. After all, no movie or show is immune to critique. It's just entertainment. And that's all it's ever meant to be. At the end of the day, the entertainment industry is about giving audiences an enjoyable experience. And when a project forgets that and becomes wrapped up in its own importance, it often loses touch with the very people it's meant to entertain. So, what do you think about the whole Agatha situation? How do you feel about the responses from people like the Critical Drinker and the Marvel fandom as a whole? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to today's deep dive. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Movie Saga, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. We've got plenty more insights and entertainment industry breakdowns coming your way, so stay tuned. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.